Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, I want you to lean in, because what I'm about to tell you will not just change your income, it will change your identity. Let me start with this. Prosperity is not a product of your paycheck. It is a product of your perspective. I know this because I was once broke, flat broke. I'm talking about no lights, no water, using candles for dinner. Not for romance, but for survival. I wasn't broke because I didn't work hard. I was broke because I didn't think right. You don't become a millionaire when $1 million hits your account. You become a millionaire when your mind upgrades to the level of that abundance. That's keynote one. Prosperity starts in the mindset, not the bank account. Let me tell you something that might sound strange at first. Being broke is not a financial condition. It's a mindset condition. It's not about the balance in your bank account. It's about the belief system operating in your brain. See, long before you ever see commas in your checking account, you've got to install wealth in your thinking. I remember being in a place where I was working hard, sweating every day, trying to get ahead, but it felt like every time I made $1, a problem was waiting to take $1.10. I wasn't lazy, I wasn't dumb, I was just broke in my beliefs. And here's the thing, your outer world will never rise higher than your inner world. Your income can't grow past your identity. If deep down you believe you're only worth just enough to get by, then guess what? That's exactly what life will hand you. Just enough to survive, never enough to thrive. It's like living in a mansion with the lights off because nobody told you where the switch was. You're surrounded by abundance, but you can't see it because your mind is stuck in scarcity. You cannot fix $1 million problem with a $100 mindset. You can't manage a business with a mental blueprint built for struggle. And you sure can't build wealth when your subconscious believes that money is evil, or that rich people are greedy, or that success means you're leaving others behind. Let me say it loud and clear. Money doesn't change you. So if you're scared of what money will turn you into, that means it's time to work on the man or woman in the mirror. Some of y'all are praying for God to bless you with more, and God is saying, why would I give you overflow when you're still thinking like lack? He wants you to upgrade your thoughts, your habits, your environment, because the promise is already there. But you've got to be the person who can handle the promise. That's why the real transformation starts before the strategy. Mindset before mechanics. Vision before venture. You can copy someone's business model, but if you don't carry their belief system, you won't get the results. Because belief determines behavior, and behavior creates results. So in 2025, if you want to become a millionaire, it starts right now. Not in your business, not in your job, but in your mind. You have to see it before you receive it. You have to become it before you attract it. You have to stop rehearsing your limitations and start repeating your possibilities. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not so he will be, not so he might be, so is he. Millionaire status is not about money, it's about mastery. Mastery of your mindset, your words, your beliefs. And when you do that, the money has no choice but to follow. Let's get something straight. Being busy is not the same as being productive. And working hard doesn't automatically make you rich. I know people who grind sun up to sundown and they're still broke. Not because they're lazy, but because they're working on the wrong thing. They're busy chasing pennies when they could be building pipelines that pour in wealth. There's a difference between activity and achievement. You can be climbing a ladder with everything you've got, but if that ladder is leaning against the wrong wall, you still end up in the wrong place. You see, the truth is the marketplace does not pay you for effort. The marketplace pays you for value. And the amount of money you make is directly proportional to the size of the problem you solve. So if you want to make more money, stop asking, how can I work more hours? And start asking, how can I solve bigger problems? How can I add more value in less time? How can I position myself as the person who knows how to get results? There are skills that keep you running on a hamster wheel, and then there are skills that break you out of the cage. I call them high-income skills. Skills that don't pay you based on time, but based on transformation. Skills like sales, marketing, persuasive communication, public speaking, leadership, closing, systems thinking. If you can sell, if you can lead, if you can get people results, you will never be broke another day in your life. Let me tell you something personal. I learned how to sell because I had to. Not because I loved it, not because I was naturally good at it, but because my family's survival was on the line. I had to learn how to communicate in a way that moved people, not manipulated, but moved them into making decisions that served them and paid me. I set the value. I set the price. I set the pace. Busy work will have you exhausted and empty. But mastering a high-income skill will have you rested and rich. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Mastering a high-income skill will have you rested and rich. Because it's not about trading hours anymore. It's about trading solutions. It's about packaging your wisdom, your experiences, your God-given gifts into something that creates value on demand. And here's the thing. High-impact skills are not just for extroverts. They're not just for people who love the spotlight. They're for anybody who's ready to become excellent at solving problems. If you're willing to be a student, to practice, to sharpen your sword, then you can learn a high-impact skill that pays you for who you become, not just what you do. In 2025, the people who win financially will be the ones who understand this. Income is not inherited, it's created. And the fastest way to create it is by becoming the kind of person who has skills the world can't ignore. Money is a mirror. It doesn't respond to how tired you are, how many hours you put in, or how long you've been grinding. It responds to one thing: value. If you want more money in your life, stop looking at the clock and start looking at your contribution. Because money does not flow to time. It flows to transformation. It flows to results. It flows to people who create something that others see as worth paying for. Somebody told you, go to school, get a good job, work hard for 40 years. And you thought that was the formula for wealth. But what if I told you that was never designed to make you rich? It was designed to make you reliable. It was designed to make you consistent. But millionaires, we don't get paid for consistency. We get paid for impact. The difference between someone making $50,000, 0 cents a year, and someone making $500, 0 cents a month isn't their schedule. It's their skill set, their mindset, and their value proposition. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine two people, both working 8 hours a day. One is doing repetitive tasks for minimum wage. The other is closing $10,000, 0 cents deals in a single conversation. Same time, different outcomes. Why? Because one is trading time, the other is leveraging value. One is surviving, the other is scaling. We were taught to chase time-based income, hourly rates, salaries, overtime. But wealthy people, we don't think in terms of time, we think in terms of value exchange. I don't ask how many hours did it take me to do this. I ask what is the outcome I'm delivering worth to someone else. That's why one person can make in 1 hour what another makes in a month. It's not luck, it's leverage. This is where your mindset has to shift. You've got to stop thinking like a laborer and start thinking like a creator. When you create results, when you create systems, when you create transformation, you set yourself apart. You stop playing the money game based on time and you start playing it based on results. You're no longer a consumer, you become a producer. Let me make this plain. Money chases problem solvers. If you can solve problems at scale, if you can solve problems with speed, simplicity, or soul, you will never lack. I've watched people with no college degree, no formal background, no traditional resume, but they learned how to solve a painful, specific, and profitable problem. And now they're flying private, building schools, changing zip codes, not because they worked more hours, because they offered more value per hour. And I want you to start asking, what do I need to do to make more money? And start asking, who do I need to become to be so valuable the world can't ignore me? Because when you become a person of value, money becomes a byproduct. It's not the goal, it's the reward for becoming excellent at what you do. The world isn't waiting for another time clock puncher. The world is waiting for you to understand your worth, own your voice, solve a problem, and step into the financial overflow that's been waiting on you all along. Let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. Faith without action is like a car without wheels. It's got all the potential, but it's not going anywhere. Too many of us are waiting for some miraculous moment where everything just clicks. But we forget that the miracle is not just in what God is going to do for you, it's in what you are willing to do with the opportunities that are already at your fingertips. Let me paint the picture. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a cliff. You can see the land of abundance across the way. You know it's there. This is the life you've been praying for, the wealth you've been seeking, the freedom you've been believing for. But there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. That gap is the difference between your faith and your action. And here's the thing. God's not going to drop a bridge from the sky. He's waiting for you to take the first step. Faith says, I believe the land of abundance is there. I know it's possible. But focus says, I'm going to keep my eyes on the goal, and I'm going to take intentional, persistent steps toward it, no matter how many distractions or challenges come my way. Focus gives you the strength to stay in alignment with your purpose and vision, even when it feels like the whole world is pulling you in 1,000 different directions. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't pray for a miracle, because I believe in miracles. But I also believe God wants you to partner with Him, not just wait on Him. You have to show up, ready to do the work. Faith without works is dead. You can't just sit back and ask for a breakthrough while you're sitting on the couch doing nothing. Faith is about stepping out of your comfort zone even when you don't see the full picture. Here's where your blueprint comes into play. Because while you're believing and staying focused, you've got to have a financial blueprint, an actual plan. The blueprint is not just about wishing for a better life. It's about putting in the work, knowing where you're going, and following a step-by-step path to get there. It's one thing to have a dream, but dreams without strategy are nothing but fantasies. You need a game plan. This is why millionaires don't just walk through life hoping for things to fall into place. They have a clear, actionable financial blueprint. A system that shows them how to take that faith, that belief, and turn it into results. You need a plan to turn your vision into reality. You need to know how to take one idea, one investment, one business, and multiply it. That blueprint is your roadmap, your framework for success. But you know what? A financial blueprint isn't just about numbers on a page. It's about belief in the process. It's about trusting that every step you take, even if it's not perfect, is taking you closer to your goal. It's about having faith in the fact that you are equipped with everything you need to create the life you desire. You have everything inside you to succeed. It's already there. When I started out, I didn't have all the answers. I didn't have the perfect plan, but I had the blueprint in my mind. And I had the faith to move forward. Even when I didn't have the resources, I had the resolve. And when you have resolve, when you have a solid financial blueprint, when you stay focused on your purpose, Nothing can stop you. You start attracting opportunities, the right people, the right circumstances, and things begin to fall into place. But focus is not just about holding on to a vision, it's about filtering out distractions. We live in an age of constant noise. Social media, news, opinions, distractions, they'll all try to pull you off your path. But focus, true focus, is about keeping your eyes on the prize and staying in your lane. Focus is the power to say no to the wrong things so you can say yes to what's right. Focus is what allows you to say, I'm not going to let the world pull me in every direction. I've got one goal, one purpose, and I'm going to keep my attention fixed on that. That's where faith meets action. That's where faith meets focus. And that's where your financial blueprint becomes more than just a wish. It becomes a reality. You see, the combination of faith, focus, and a financial blueprint is the power that propels you toward your success. It's like a rocket. Faith is the fuel, focus is the direction, and the blueprint is the launch pad. Without one of these components, you're stuck on the ground, no matter how much you believe. But when you've got them all together, there's no limit to how far you can go. The hardest part of becoming a millionaire is not the journey itself. It's the decision to start. You see, success is a decision. Wealth is a decision. Everything you want to achieve begins with a single powerful choice. Deciding that it's time to stop living below your potential and commit to the life you deserve. When I say decide, I don't just mean making a casual choice. I mean a decision that is so firm, so resolute, that it shifts the entire course of your life. A decision that says, I am done with mediocrity. I am done with being stuck. I am done with living below what I'm capable of. You have to make that decision in your heart first, and everything else follows from there. I know some of you are thinking, but Myron, I've tried before. I've started things and they didn't work out. Let me tell you something. Failure is a part of success. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the pathway to success. But you'll never get to success if you don't decide that failure is no longer an option. The moment you decide that nothing can stop you, nothing will stop you. The problem is that too many people make decisions without real commitment. They say, I want to be a millionaire, but when things get tough, they quit. They say, I'm going to build a business, but when challenges arise, they back off. Commitment means that you're in it for the long haul. Commitment means doing the work even when the work gets hard. It's waking up every day with the conviction that you're going to give your best even when the results aren't immediate. So think about it like this. Commitment is like planting a seed. You plant the seed today and you water it, nurture it, and care for it day in and day out. But you don't see the tree overnight. You don't see the fruit tomorrow. But you're committed to the process. You trust the process. And what happens? Eventually that seed grows into something strong, something fruitful, something that will provide for you, your family, and others for generations to come. Most people fail not because they don't have the potential, but because they quit too soon. They start, they struggle, they get frustrated, and then they stop. But commitment means that no matter how many obstacles come your way, you stay the course. You keep moving forward. You decide that you're not going to quit until you've crossed the finish line, no matter how long it takes. And then, when you've made the decision and you've committed, the next step is to multiply. This is where the real magic happens. Most people think they can work their way to wealth by just working harder or longer hours. And while hard work is important, it's not the ultimate key. The key is multiplication. The key is leverage. The key is teaching others to do what you do, helping them get results, and scaling that impact to reach more people. This is where the millionaire mindset really kicks in. You have to think about how to scale. How can you turn your time and energy into something that multiplies? How can you create systems that produce results, even when you're not there. That's where the real wealth building begins. Millionaires don't just focus on doing everything themselves. They focus on creating systems, teams, and frameworks that multiply their efforts and results. When I committed to my vision, I didn't just want to make money. I wanted to create a legacy, a business that would run even when I wasn't there, a movement that would change the lives of others. And when you focus on multiplying your impact, you don't just change your financial situation, you change everything. You create wealth that lasts. You create a ripple effect that touches the lives of people you may never even meet. Think about this. The wealthiest people in the world aren't the ones who work the most hours. They're the ones who know how to multiply their efforts. They understand that money comes when you build something bigger than yourself. It's about creating value and then duplicating that value across a broader spectrum. That's how you go from making a few $1,000s to making millions. So here's your challenge. Decide today, make the decision that you are no longer going to be the person who talks about success. You are going to be the person who lives it. Commit to the process, commit to the hard work, and commit to building something that lasts. And then, once you've committed, focus on multiplying your impact, your value, and your efforts. Find ways to leverage your time, your skills, and your resources to reach more people and create more results. Because that's where the true wealth lies. You have everything you need to make this happen. The only thing standing between you and the success you want is your decision, your commitment, your multiplication. So make the decision today. You're not waiting for the perfect moment. You're not waiting for the right time. That time is now. Commit to the journey and start multiplying your way to the life you were meant to live. Let me tell you something I wish someone had told me when I first started out. Your most important investment isn't in stocks or real estate. It's in yourself. You are the biggest asset you have. The way you think, the way you act, and the way you carry yourself will determine your success or failure more than any outside circumstance. When I talk about investing in yourself, I'm not just talking about learning a new skill here or there. I'm talking about a total transformation of who you are, how you think, and the way you operate in the world. Too many people wait for something external to change before they start taking action. They wait for a mentor, a miracle, or a market shift. But what I've learned is this: you are the change you've been waiting for. The moment you decide that your growth is non-negotiable, that you will become the person capable of handling the success you want, is the moment the game changes. I'm not saying you don't need external resources. Yes, you need mentors, coaches, and books. But what I'm saying is, everything that you need to move to the next level is already inside you. You need to unlock that potential by investing in the right knowledge, the right relationships, and the right mindset. When you become the person who is capable of doing what you say you want to do, the world opens up. The doors of opportunity don't just knock, they slam wide open for you. But that transformation comes from within. You've got to be willing to invest in your mind, in your heart, and in your spirit first. The best investment you can make is in your ability to learn, grow, and take massive action toward your dreams. Let me break it down for you. First, you need to invest in your mind. If you don't upgrade your thinking, you're going to stay stuck at your current level. Your thoughts control your decisions, and your decisions create your destiny. If you want to be wealthy, you can't keep thinking like someone who's just getting by. You need to feed your mind with the kind of knowledge that will challenge your old beliefs and open you up to new possibilities. Books, courses, seminars. These are the tools that will sharpen your mind. But more than that, you need to learn how to think in abundance, how to see opportunities instead of obstacles, and how to look at setbacks as stepping stones, not roadblocks. Second, you've got to invest in your relationships. No one becomes a millionaire alone. You need to surround yourself with people who will challenge you, support you, and hold you accountable. I can tell you from experience that your network is your net worth. The people you spend the most time with will either raise you up or drag you down. If you're around people who are constantly complaining about how hard life is, you're going to find it difficult to reach the heights you're capable of. But when you're surrounded by people who are actively growing, pursuing their goals, and pushing through their challenges, guess what? You can't help but rise with them. Invest in your relationships. Find mentors who've been where you want to go. Build a circle of people who are committed to success just like you. But the most crucial investment is in your spirit, your inner strength, your resilience, and your faith. You can have all the skills, all the strategies, and all the opportunities in the world, but if you don't have the mental and emotional resilience to handle the inevitable setbacks and struggles, it won't matter. Life is going to throw punches at you. It's not a matter of if, but when. But when you've invested in your spirit, when you've built your faith, your belief in yourself, and your mental toughness, nothing can break you. You'll keep getting up. You'll keep moving forward. You'll keep believing, even when the odds are stacked against you. I see too many people investing in external things, buying gadgets, traveling to expensive places, chasing the next shiny object, while neglecting their own personal growth. But let me be clear. The best use of your resources is always to pour them into your own growth. You can have the best strategy, the best business idea, the best marketing plan, but if you haven't grown into the person capable of leading it, executing it, and scaling it, it will fall apart. You cannot earn your own growth. If you want to go further than you've ever gone, you have to be willing to grow beyond who you've ever been. I remember a time when I was struggling. I was working hard, but nothing seemed to be clicking, and then it hit me. If I want different results, I've got to become a different person. I had to upgrade my mind. I had to learn how to communicate more powerfully, how to sell effectively, how to build systems. And I had to dig deep inside myself to find the strength and belief to keep going when everything around me looked uncertain. That's when everything started to change. Not when the economy changed, not when the market shifted, but when I changed. The truth is, the world is full of opportunities. But opportunities don't come knocking on your door if you haven't invested in yourself enough to recognize them. And they certainly won't stay long enough for you to grab them if you haven't developed the capacity to handle them. Invest in yourself. Feed your mind. Build your resilience. Learn the skills that will set you apart. And watch how your life begins to transform in ways you never thought possible. You can have all the knowledge in the world, all the strategies, and all the tools. But if you don't take massive action, you're going to stay stuck right where you are. Success is not about sitting back and waiting for things to magically happen. It's about making things happen with urgency and relentless commitment. Most people underestimate the power of consistent, intentional action. They think they need to have everything perfect before they start. They think they need to wait for the right moment. But let me tell you something. The right moment is now. The only moment you have is the one you're in. And if you don't take massive action right now, you're going to miss out on the success that could have been yours. I'm not talking about taking half-hearted, wishy-washy action. I'm talking about big, bold moves, moves that scare you, moves that stretch you, moves that push you outside of your comfort zone. If you're not uncomfortable, you're probably not moving fast enough. You need to take action that challenges you to grow. Every decision you make, every step you take needs to be pushing you toward the person you're becoming and the life you're building. And here's the thing, nothing in life happens without action. Not your goals, not your dreams, not your business, not your wealth. They are all the result of your consistent daily action. Let me give you a powerful secret I learned along the way. You don't need to have it all figured out before you act. Most people are paralyzed by perfection. They get stuck in the planning stage, trying to make everything perfect, waiting for the perfect opportunity. But you know what? Perfection doesn't exist. You don't have to have the perfect plan. What you need is a start, a decision to go, a commitment to keep moving forward even when you don't know all the answers. When I first started, I didn't have everything figured out. Heck, I didn't even know how to sell the way I do now. But what I had was a fire, a desire to take massive action. And through that action, I learned, I grew, and I figured things out as I went. There's no such thing as perfect action. There's only consistent action. And it's that consistent action that compounds and creates success. People get frustrated when they don't see immediate results. But here's what you need to understand. Success is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about showing up day after day, even when the results aren't visible yet. It's about being patient and persistent while your efforts are slowly, steadily building up momentum. Every time you take action, you are planting seeds in the soil of your success. Sometimes you don't see those seeds sprouting right away, but every seed has a purpose. Every action you take builds on the last one, and the more consistent you are, the faster those results begin to come to fruition. When you stay consistent, you will eventually reach a tipping point where everything starts to work in your favor. But you have to keep taking action, even when you don't feel like it. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is that they take action for a week, a month, or even a year, and then give up because they don't see the breakthrough. But success doesn't come from doing something for a short period of time. It comes from doing it day in and day out, even when no one's watching, even when it feels like nothing is changing. The people who make it are the ones who keep showing up, even when things get tough. When you keep showing up, when you keep taking action, when you keep moving forward, eventually you'll have the results you're after. Let me share something personal with you. When I first started speaking and coaching, it wasn't glamorous. I didn't get big stages right away. I didn't have a massive following, but I was consistent. I showed up every single day, even when there were only a handful of people in the room. Even when the feedback was tough, even when the money wasn't flowing yet, I kept going. And that consistency paid off. I kept improving. I kept refining my message. And over time, the momentum started to build. People started to recognize the value I was bringing. The results came, but they didn't come because I was waiting for the right moment or the perfect plan. They came because I took massive action consistently without quitting. Success is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It's reserved for the persistent, the ones who are willing to work when it's hard, the ones who keep going when it's inconvenient, the ones who keep pushing through obstacles, setbacks, and failures. Because here's the thing, failure is part of the process. It's not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Failure is just feedback. It tells you what's not working so you can adjust your approach. But you'll never know what you need to adjust if you're not taking action in the first place. So here's the challenge for you. What would happen if you just decided to take massive action every day? What if you decided today that you would show up, give your best, and never quit no matter what? What if you took action even when you didn't feel like it? What if you kept going even when the results were slow to come? Imagine how much closer you would be to your goals in a year, in 2 years, or 5 years. The key to unlocking your success is not in waiting for the right opportunity. It's in taking massive action, day after day, without hesitation, without excuses. The universe rewards action. It rewards those who take the first step. It rewards those who get up every morning, ready to put in the work, even when the results aren't immediately visible. So make the decision today. You're going to take massive action And you're going to stay consistent. No more waiting. No more wondering if it will work. Just take the first step and keep moving forward. The results will come. They always do when you take massive, consistent action.